Again, Fulani headsmen, the language has been moderated now, it's headsmen, because they say, okay, they are not all Fulanis. And in any case, all kinds of big men have heads of cattle. You saw the picture of the president, and he's a headsman. Other generals are headsmen, and so on and so forth. In fact, I went on pastoral visit and in one of the villages in Katsina, and when I was going away, they gave me, I think, about 10 goats. So I called my priest and I said, look, I'm going to get personal now. So when you are attacking headsmen, thinking of headsmen, please remember that with 10 goats, I'm now a headsman. It's not the issue, but I'm saying, what if these people, where have these people come from? Why now? Those are not questions for the president to answer, but they are questions for the president to seek the capacity to respond to those issues. And I worry that what we call democracy in Nigeria, we're confusing it with office holding. And you assume that because a man is a governor, is a president, and so on, people didn't sit for examination to get to these positions. So they don't have all the answers. But we then have a situation in which a political party comes to power. They're thinking only of the well-being of the party. They're thinking only about winning the next election. They're thinking only about compromising or patronizing their members. Nobody is thinking very clearly about the soul of the nation. The Fulani headsman thing is a metaphor for all that is wrong with this country. They may have operationalized their own discontentment in violence. But right now, it redefines what we think about the Fulani. And I worry about the Fulani elite. The president is a Fulani man. There are about 5 or 6 or 7 other Fulanis who will be contesting for election as president, in 2019. But what is a Fulani man today? And how did we get to a point in which an entire race can be so maligned, let me put it that way, simply by the activities of a few individuals? I don't think that we should come to a point in which suddenly to be Fulani is to be violent.
Have you heard also, I mean, you have heard also sometimes the controversial religious connotations read into this conflict?
Yes, look.
Is it something that worries you? Is it something you agree with?
Again, you see, the problem is, and pardon me if I sound a bit abstract, this nation has never come to terms with the issue of identity. Okay? Identities mutate. Now, we have come to a point in which the British colonial administration defined Nigeria as the North being predominantly Muslim and the South being predominantly Christian. And because of the mental carelessness of successive governments, we've now framed ourselves into a situation in which Nigerians don't die as Nigerians. Look at the text. They will tell you 20 Muslims died or 20 Christians died. We don't die as Nigerians. We just die as members of a religion. Despite the fact that the cops didn't tell you I'm a Christian or a Muslim. But that's how dangerous we've come in dealing with this fault line. So whether you impute religious connotation to it speaks to the whole question of those who appropriate Islam and claim that, well, in our religion, there's no difference between politics. There is difference. But to answer your question, do people commit crimes as Muslims or Christians? That's why we end up, everybody say, oh, the Bible doesn't say so. The Bible is the word of God. The Holy Quran is the word of God. It has not stopped us from sinning. It's not stopped us from doing bad things. The question is, what happens to crime? Because we've not been able, we can't try people, because once you say these are Christians, in 1987, when the first of this crisis happened in Kafanchan, they set up a panel in Kaduna, and the panel could hardly sit because it was divided between Christians and Muslims on that frame. The point I'm making is, and this is where I think the National Assembly should be focusing, how do we move from these compartments to common citizenship? Because once you get to that point, then you are under a common constitution. Then you can be tried for having committed a crime, as opposed to being seen as a Christian or a Muslim.
Hey, I'm going to ask you a final one, and this is yes or no. Do you think we have the capacity to be able to end the crisis, the conflict between farmers and herdsmen?
We have the capacity, but I don't think we have the will.
That's a fine place to leave it. We have to thank you most kindly for coming on Sunrise Daily. Bishop Matthew Kukah is the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese. Sunrise Daily will continue in just a moment. Please stay with us.